recording? Oh, yes. Hi, I am Maria, or I call myself One Craft Chick because I just really like all things crafting. I am coming to you today. I am going to give a little tutorial on how to use a printable. I have linked one in the blog post, so it's below. It's going to be, there are 2 files. So it's this lovely 30 Days of Lists book and there are 2 books. So there's one that is the first half of the challenge or the list, and then the second book is the second half. So it's field note size, so it's kind of small. Field notes, if you're not familiar, is a standard like notebook size, or Midori or Fodori if you are into Fodoris. Here's mine. I just took the thing off, but there actually says field notes. There is an actual notebook that says field notes. It's just perfect for throwing in a purse or throwing in your other planner, like if you're an Erin Condren planner person or whatever. It's just easy to just slip in. I'm going to just go ahead and get started. So we'll start out with like at your computer, and then I'll show you how you start cutting and everything once it is printed. So, now that you've downloaded your files for printing, open it up in Adobe Reader. Reader is a free program you can download at adobe.com. It just helps you, really gives you a lot of options when you are dealing with a PDF. Just go ahead and do a Control P to print, or you can go up to File and Print, or you can click on this little guy right here, this little printer, and it all get you the exact same window. And you want to make sure that it's going to print actual size. You have 8.5 by 11 paper in your printer. And then the only other thing that you need to do for the first round is you want to click on this little arrow here that says More Options, and you want to choose Odd Pages Only, and then go ahead and print. And then once your piece has printed, you'll need to put those papers back into the printer so it can print the other side. My paper, or my printer, as soon as all the pages come out, I just pick them right up and put them, just flip them upside down on the short end, the 8.5 by 11 end, and put them back into the top of my printer to print again on the other side. And that's it. So Control P, or hit any of the other options. Then you're just going to choose, because we just printed the odd pages, you're going to choose even pages. And you need to know your printer, because some people need to click this reverse pages button. For my printer, I don't need to do that. For some people, they do. So you just kind of need to know how your printer is going to work. But then you just go ahead and print, and you're done. And then I'll show you what to do once all your pages are printed. I'm out here now in my summer office, is what I call it, which is really my backyard. So you might hear the wind rustle, and you might actually hear some wildlife, because you just never know what's going to happen in my backyard. So, your printed piece, I have protection for my table, so I'm using a self-healing cutting mat. I will also use a rotary cutter. You will need a pair of scissors. I have some floss for binding, which is actually kind of optional. So I'm going to show you how to bind, and a needle for doing that. Pencil, a hammer, again for binding. This is, I don't even know what this is called. I think my air conditioner just kicked on. A lot of people have, say, an auger. You could really just use a X-Acto knife with a sharp tip, or you could use a push pin, like for tack, like a tack for tacking something onto a wall. You'll need a ruler. I prefer a metal ruler, and actually a metal ruler is best. It doesn't have to be this long. I have a really long one, but it's like my favorite ruler. I have like 4 metal rulers, and now is the time to get them because you can get one for 50 cents or whatever now that school, you know, all the school supplies are out. And then a scrap piece of wood. You can tell I use this quite often. But some additional things, if you have them and you want to, I'm going to round my corners. So this is a corner rounder. It's just like a Fisker scrapbooking supply, a bone folder, but I will pretend to use this, and after about 2 times I will forget. And then I also just have some clips for helping me keep my pages together. It's just useful. So absolutely don't need to have them. And if you have just binder clips, those would work too. It's just nice to try when you're cutting to keep things together. First thing to do, you're just going to fold every one of these pages. Just need to make sure that all your pages are in order. I'm just going to give it a fold. Now if you're using your bone folder, get everything out of the way. And just give it a nice little fold down the center. You want to make sure that all of your pages, I'll show you in the next one actually. I don't want to reveal anything if you're trying to be really good and not know what all the prompts are, but I'll show you the first one. Yeah, I kind of covered it. But your prompt should always end up on the right side of the page. So when it goes in, it's going to nest. Okay, so you have to remember that. So I'm going to fold it, and one is going to be facing me. Increase down my side. And it's going to nest in. So on the other side is blank, and then number 1 is here. So you can put your number 1, all your things that have to do with number 1, and then any additional, or I like to put some supplementary items in there, so you'll have that space. Okay. So now I'm just gonna keep folding all my pages. So all my pages have now been folded. You can just flip through, and on the right side should always be the prompt, and on the left side should always be blank. So if you don't want to bind, you can just skip forward and go to the cut, but I like to bind mine. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I just like to bind mine. I like it all to stay together. A lot of people don't bind their inserts because they like to be able to add extra pages as needed, but I just don't, have never really felt the need to do that. I would normally draw my my next marks on the inside, but I'm trying to be very sensitive and make sure that you don't see anything you don't want to see. So I'm going to use my ruler and my pencil, and I'm going to find the center. The center of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper is 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to put a little dot there for 4 1/4, and then I'm going to go out about an inch. I'm going to do 2 marks. of holes. Okay, now I'm gonna cut it here. So you also need to look and make sure that your last hole is within, you know, where it's gonna get chopped off. And then this is where you get to pound on things. Put my little auger, I'm gonna call it an auger, even though it's probably not really one, right in my center, my mark for my center, and I'm gonna give it a tap. And then I'm just gonna do that for all the other holes. So. And just make sure that everything went all the way through to the other side. There's nothing you really need to do. Just need to make sure it went through. And then I'm gonna get a piece of string. You want it to be relatively long. It should probably be about twice the length, if not a little bit more, of your book. And then I have a needle. This is just, actually I think this was on clearance. This is a little bit thicker than what I usually use, but I just use like DMC cross stitching or embroidery floss, and then just an old needle. I don't even know, this is a really long needle. Now I'm going to move to the inside. Let's try and put that right there so you won't be able to see. Now I want to go in through the center hole. Oh, the air conditioner stopped. This is not, I did not invent this. I did not come up with this on my own. I read a lot of different people on YouTube and how they're doing this. I think that the best tutorial that I saw was by Sea Lemon, and she has a lot of great tutorials. So this is not mine. Please don't think that I am. Yeah, I did not do the research and learn this, you know, from a book, and I'm certainly not presenting it as my own. So anyway, I came through to the other side, and now I'm gonna go down. Just make sure that the center one stays, and then I'm gonna go back through, and then back down the center and up again. Just make this nice little pattern on the other side, and then down through. And then back through. So now I'm going to have a nice little straight line here, and then I'm going to come down and have a nice little straight line in the center with this one little string here, and I ended on the back. Okay, so now I'm just kind of gonna make a little funky loop and come underneath and through to make a knot. And there is my knot. And now I'm going to push it through to the other side. So I'm going to put my needle back through, just a lot of back and forth. And then, but I'm going to give it a good yank so that my thing. And then I'm just going to do another little knot that includes this. Actually, I'll probably do it twice, just so it stays nice and together, because I'm kind of a freak about that, but you do whatever you want. I'm going to tuck my end in, just tuck it through. I'm going to do it twice, again, because I'm a freak. Give it a little snip. Do the other side. And then just put all that away. Okay, so now, so we're halfway done. Actually, this is the last step. Okay, so if you didn't want to bind, this is where we begin how to cut. Okay, again, I'm going to use my clips. These particular clips have a flat end and then there's a flat, this side is flat. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of flat, and then the other side has rounded. So I'm going to use that one so that it lays semi-flat. You will notice that there are crop marks, and this is how I know where to cut. So you go from crop mark to crop mark. Okay, so that's how I'm going to lay my ruler down so that they go up from one to the other. Okay, rotary cutter. Now I'm not going to go completely up and down, and and the reason I do that is that I need to be able to use this other crop mark. So if I go all the way when I'm cutting, if I cut from top to bottom, then I lose this crop mark, and I don't want to lose that crop mark. I need to be able to use it. So I'm just going to start cutting. Go slow, go back and forth. It's not going to cut through quickly or anything. See, I've done a couple passes and it hasn't even gone to the other side yet. But just keep going back and forth as you are, as you're cutting, okay? And you'll notice that my ruler is protecting, I call it protecting my printed object. So if I veer off, it's fine. If I somehow accidentally veer off this way, it's not going to screw up my perfect printed portion. It's gonna, this is scrap paper at this point. Anything that's over there is just scrap paper. So I don't have to worry about what happens with it. Watch your fingers, okay? No bloody fingers, so keep them in, and then just kind of go back and forth. Applying some pressure, but not too much. Okay, and see, it's gone through, but it hasn't gone completely through. There's still a spot, but I'm kind of okay with that right now. There is no crop mark in the middle. I'm going to make sure I am lined up here, and then I'm just going to make sure that I am kind of just straight. So I'm just parallel over here. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. So I'm just going to go all the way across. And for whatever reason, this always seems to be so much easier. Okay? And do the same thing. Always protecting my inside. So I'm lined up. The edge of my ruler is lined up to the to that crop mark. And then over here, I'm eyeballing it, but it looks straight. I can see there's a hash here and a hash here, so it looks straight across, like it's going straight across. Okay? I'm almost done. I can flip it over now at this point, and I can see where my line is. And then just cut that last part, and then cut this last part. Same thing. I'm just getting my rotary cutter in that groove, and then just get ready to cut it across. And then I have this book. Look at my beautiful book. Ah, it's awesome. You can be completely done at this point. Again, you could have not cared about binding it. I mean, it could have taken you 5 minutes to get, less than that, to get to this point. But I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to use my my corner rounder. So you can see It just has, it pops up and it cuts. It rounds my corner, okay? So I know exactly where to set it in, and if this is best, I find it best to do like 3 pages at a time. I don't find that I can do much more than that. It's not an industrial one. If you're a scrapbooker and you have like a Cricut, that would be awesome. Or Crocodile, I think it's called a Crocodile, but this works just fine. I just get my corner in there, pop. And then just do the next little group of pages, pop. And the next little group of pages. I mean, the worst part about it is that it leaves a bunch of, I've got a bunch of pieces that I need to throw in the trash. And actually, did it in 2. So there, one side is done. It's done. See? But now I need to do the other one. The other side is still square. And now I'm done. And I'm ready to begin using this. I hope you'll try this on your own. People get really freaked out about printables. Many people sell printables on Etsy. There are a lot of benefits, I think, to printables, so I think it's just worth remembering and thinking about. I hope that this helps shed some light on that and makes the idea of buying a printable print planner from somebody on Etsy, you know, this makes it just a little less scary. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the 30 days of lists. I know that Cam and Amy have done like so much work to make it enjoyable for everyone, so I hope that you are really having a great time, and I hope that this helps add to that if you choose to use it. Thank you. Bye. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Give me comments below. I've only done a couple, so I would love to hear just your thoughts and what you liked and what you didn't like. And I say a lot, so please excuse that. Don't comment on that. No commenting on that, please. Okay, have a great time, and I will see you on the message boards and everything, because I plan on liking and yeah, I don't know. Just I'm so excited. So okay, thanks. Bye.